Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Alex King and Bill G. Today is Tuesday, August the 6th, 2019. It is 8 a.m. in New York and 5 a.m. in Los Angeles. That's 1 p.m. New York or London time and 9 p.m. in Tokyo and 10 p.m. in Sydney, Australia. Hey, wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us for another episode of LOA Today, your daily dose of happy. And I am very happy because I just got back. Louise and I just got back from 4 days in the Cape Cod, Massachusetts, right on the ocean, and got to visit my good friend Alex. It was fun to actually meet you in person.
Real life.
It was great. Yeah, and what a good way to start the weekend off, because we drove over and drove into the Cape and then went right to visit you first thing, and just kind of set the tone for the whole weekend. So,
Exactly.
Thank you for being such a wonderful hostess. That was wonderful.
And people, let me tell you, don't underestimate when Walt says he's 6'8". Like, it's intense. I was like, oh no, do I live in an elf house? Because he was like ducking under my house. Hilarious. I was like, well, guess we're sitting outside.
So yes, ladies and gentlemen, when I speak on this show, I speak the truth. You know for certain, like for instance, when I say I'm 6'8", I really, really am 6'8".
But I've never really visualized what 6'8" looks like. So it was like, wow. Like I've never had to like go like this around.
It's pretty tall, I have to admit.
Oh, I almost asked you to clean my top cabinets.
I got a lot of tall jokes. I mean, I always do, but I got a lot on the trip. Tall jokes and talk. I had people stopping me, talking about height with me. What? Really?
Weightlifting.
I mean, we have a little people town, the next town over. Like they have their own village.
Really?
So yeah. So when they come in, yes, it's like right next to Yarmouth. Like on the way to Yarmouth. So it's like nobody knows about it. It's like low key. It looks like a little.
Don't miss it. They wouldn't see it. They're looking up here and the town would be down there.
Well, no, it's like up tucked in the woods. Like you'd have to know it's down there. So literally looks like a little, camp with like little tiny cabins. But the houses are adorable. It's so cute.
Wow.
So like when they come into town, so it's like the total opposite of you. When they come into town, it's like, oh my God, they're so cute. And I feel like that's rude. Like,
well,
you know what I mean? Like they've been little all their lives. They know they're cute, but they're not like, mystical creatures. Like we don't need to pet them. Like stop it.
Yeah. It's like, well, all you have to do is just watch The Little Couple on TV and they're just human beings. They're just regular.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is the way it should be.
I was watching this, ever hear the trend, the tiny house movement?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of people.
My mom wants a tiny house.
Yeah, and actually we were actually thinking about getting a tiny house, and I was watching this YouTube video. This guy was 6'4" and living in a tiny house.
Oh, please.
I mean, if it's a tiny house this way, but not a tiny house this way, you could do it.
It was a tiny house, this way, but the bedroom was still a loft.
Right. Oh, that's challenging.
Yes.
Well, we had a tiny shower. Does that count?
Yes. It probably wasn't a tiny shower. It was a regular shower for us normal people.
Well, it was a normal shower for people who live on the Cape.
Yes, that's true.
It's basically 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet, but it's just enough for me to clear my head, so you can kind of turn around, and if you turn carefully, you don't hit anything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Walt's belly button is probably right where the shower head is, so it's complicated.
It wasn't quite that low, but.
So what did you all do? Did you do anything fun when you were in the Cape?
No, we were bored to tears. It was just awful. Yeah, we did, of course. We had a lot of fun. We went over to Martha's Vineyard for a day. That was fun. We did learn that what Louise has been dealing with medically is something we need to pay close attention to, in that when you're out in the sun and you aren't near your own home and you aren't near your own car, you have to be cognizant of where you can go to get cool. So we don't have lessons about that. Mm-hmm. But it all worked out nicely. We had some great meals. Meal was a big part about going to the Cape. You just eat seafood till it's coming out of your ears.
Exactly.
And that's what it's the law. They passed a law in Cape Cod. You have to eat seafood until it's coming out of your ears. Otherwise, you can't stay.
I mean, that was the whole reason I moved down here was when they passed the law to be all the way. I was like, this sounds like my type of people. I'm out.
There you go. But no, it was great. Got out a lot. I'm not a beach person, and I spent time on the beach. Louise and I went to the beach. And I don't really sit on the beach. I don't sit very well in the sun. That's like too intense for me. I lather up in the sunscreen, and then I just walk the beach, and I love that. So I did like 5 or 6 laps. I mean, it was great.
Nice. Got your steps in.
Got my steps in, and the way I expressed it, one woman on the beach stopped me and was showing me a seashell that she had found. I'm not quite sure what that was.
Random.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm walking on the beach, and she stops me and she says, "Isn't it a great day?" And I just kind of instantly open up like, "Oh wow, it's an amazing day." I go down to that end of the beach, and I go, "Oh," and I go down to that end of the beach, and I go, "Oh," and that's the way my day is going.
Yeah. Coming to the Cape is literally like taking a deep breath and just you leave all your problems on the other side of the bridge.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Actually, I was up at Isle Lamont in northern Vermont. It's one of the islands on Lake Champlain, and we did that too. We went to the beach, and it was, and my wife gathered seashells because even though it's fresh water, there's still mussels and whatever, and
mussels.
And we after we came home, she strung the shells together and made a shaman rattle out of it.
Aha.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
She loves making shaman rattles. That's because she does shamanic healing too, and so she loves making the rattles. She's got quite a collection of rattles now.
She was stocked up on the beach we were on because there was this one section where I think somebody had come through and raked it. There's like this huge pile of shells. Just a gigantic pile of shells. I mean, like they were trying to turn it into mulch or something. It was just gigantic. Shell compost.
We were actually planning on going to Hampton Beach yesterday, but after driving all the way up to Lake Champlain, we decided that we weren't going to do that. So instead, we went to Plymouth State Park in Vermont, which is near Ludlow. It's Echo Lake. And they had paddle boats, and we had a cookout, and best of all, it was only a half hour from the house.
I was going to say Hampton Beach is way too peoply this time of year.
Yeah, and that was the other thing, too. We were like, okay, we're going to drive all the way out there where it's going to be crowded. And really, at this point, my sister-in-law is visiting from Kentucky. She's been here since last Wednesday, and she goes home tomorrow. So we were like, okay, let's keep this low-key. Let's have a nice, relaxy day on the lake. And we arrived like 2 in the afternoon. We didn't even go in the morning. We just went in the afternoon. That way we can just have dinner. Wyatt got out on the paddle boats twice. And we just had a very nice, relaxing time. And because it was a Monday, the place there were still people there, but there wasn't nearly as many people you'd have on a weekend.
As you're talking about that, I don't know why. I guess because it's about lakes, but it wasn't Champlain. It was Winnipesaukee. But dating back to when I was a kid, there was a time where my family and extended family all met at Winnipesaukee.
Right.
I think because my mom and dad actually had some history from when they were dating, or maybe honeymoon or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But we all went to Winnipesaukee, and the thing that stuck in my mind was we made ice cream with one of those ice cream making tubs, with the crack in the ice and so forth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I barely remember. I remember we were on the beach. I remember the ocean was there, but all I remember is everybody's taking their turns cranking that ice cream. And when it came out on that really, really hot day, it was like manna from heaven. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful evening last night too. I mean, it was like 77 degrees, nice breeze. I mean, just absolutely perfect cookout weather. I mean, we had a great time that we're going to go back in a couple weeks, and this time we're going to have some friends and family meet us there too. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's great. Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that's the best part about summer. In the north, if you live in the northern hemisphere, summer is all about getting away, getting to the beach, going to the mountains, going to wherever your getaway is. and just, draining the stress out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talk a lot here on the show about the law of attraction and about being deliberate creators. And rule number one is if you want to do your best deliberate creation, you have to do it when you feel good. So
Right.
what better way to do that than to go away so you can get rid of all the stress and feel good?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened this weekend.
Yeah.
And I came home and I was checking all the stress indicators and they aren't there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, most of the people who are here who live in Vermont don't leave home during the summer months. That's when the weather is perfect here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They leave during the winter. They head down to Florida or they go to warmer climate. We call them snowbirds.
Yes, that's what we call them.
Yeah, the snowbirds leave in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And
Head to
unless
Florida.
they're skiers.
unless they're scared. Well, we get all the Europeans coming in the wintertime for the slopes.
Right. Right. Yeah. But the skiers will stick around, and even the skiers they'll stay there for their portion of what they want to be their ski season. Then,
Right.
Then they'll go to Florida.
Then they'll go to Florida. Right.
Like, okay, I'm done with that. Let's go warm up. Somebody bring the Christmas tree. So,
Oh, man.
but it's all good. Let's see. Bill had come up with a topic for today. I thought the topic was just going to be what we're talking about here, but we can kind of extend it to anything that feels good because that's really what you were referring to, Bill. Stuff that feels good, and I think it's good to touch on that periodically because when we remember what's feeling good and how to feel good, I think that's the biggest skill right there.
Right.
Learning how to feel good on demand.
Mm-hmm.
Because we go through so many things in life where we get ourselves focusing on stuff we don't really like all that much because we really, really don't like it all that much. And then we stay focused on it and we get upset about it and we talk to our friends about it and we write about it and we watch about it on TV and so forth. And suddenly we can't deliberately create anymore.
Right.
So, you have to kind of get back into that mode. And that's where a getaway really, really helps, even a short one. I mean, this is like a 3.5 day getaway we did, which isn't all that long, right? As getaways.
Well, that's usually what my vacations are. Like when I go to visit my brother and sister, I can't do longer than maybe a long weekend. That's about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So a week or two is beyond your beyond your range. Yeah.
No.
So, well, that's part of it too, then knowing exactly what your range is. But boy, this is so important. Right. I was really noticing it this morning. I got up and I started doing my daily mirror exercises. So, by the way, that was the other thing. I didn't do any mirror exercises while I was away. I didn't even miss it. I was just having such a good time. I didn't need them.
Yeah.
But I was doing the mirror exercises this morning, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I want to feel this way every day. So that was my affirmation. I'm going to feel like this every day. I'm going to feel like it all day long. Yeah, well, yeah, I consider that. I'm thinking about that. I don't really want to live there year round, but I'd like to have a place there to go to.
Yes.
That'd be really nice. Preferably close to the shore,
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, Louise and I were doing a little dreaming. We after we checked out of the B&B yesterday, we drove up the coast along Route 28 and, just kind of meandering along there, along the seashore and just looking at some of the homes that are there. Gorgeous homes, beautiful homes. I'm thinking, I could live there. That would be good.
Right?
Yeah. I could live with that. That'd be all right. And just soaking it in.
Mm-hmm.
You have to
rent that. I could rent that one for a little while.
I could rent that out for $3,500 a day. I mean, I don't mind renting that one out.
That's how much they go for.
That's right.
It's crazy out here.
$3,500 a day.
$3,500 a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Yeah. But if you think about it, if it's a lot of bedrooms, like you get a bunch of people together and split it, it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like they have any trouble renting them.
They sure don't.
Mm-hmm.
They sure don't. The interlopers are full down here.
I love your word, interlopers. Because from your perspective, that's what they are.
They're infringing on my way of life.
They're crowding on your town.
Yeah, it would be fine if they knew how to use rotaries, and I probably wouldn't have a problem with them.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what is really, really great to visit this time of year. This coming weekend, Saratoga Springs is an awesome place to come and visit.
Saratoga is just generally in August. Well, first of all, if you have any love at all of thoroughbreds, that is the place to be in August. Saratoga. Absolutely. You got two of the biggest stakes races, and I mean the track is gorgeous, and plus you've got the Saratoga Springs, and I mean everything around there. You're in the Adirondacks. It's just a gorgeous place to be.
Absolutely.
The only thing you want to avoid in August is you want to make sure you bring some sort of insect spray because the black flies will get you. But other than that.
And the black flies also, and actually not the black flies, but those teeny little gnats.
Oh, yeah.
They come right through the screen.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, from their perspective, it isn't a screen, it's a doorway. That's what that is.
Yeah.
It's a little doorway.
They're like, oh, they have air conditioning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But Saratoga Springs is absolutely gorgeous, and that's where I'll be this weekend at the Holiday Inn.
I hope you'll be outside the Holiday Inn too. You don't want to go to Saratoga in August and just spend all your time in the Holiday Inn.
That's true. That's true. But there's going to be at the Mind Body Soul Expo. We have over 80 vendors there. It's going to be great. It's one of the most well organized events that I've ever participated in, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be there both Saturday and Sunday. It's 10 to 6.
That's an appropriate name too. The Mind Body. I mean, that's appropriate because
Mind Body. Absolutely.
That's the experience of the vacation. That's what Louise and I just experienced. It was all about mind body, just relaxing the body and clearing the mind and getting to that space of really, really good feeling. So that, and the other thing that's really nice about good feeling, nice is not even the right word. I need a better adjective than that. But the thing that's spectacular about good feeling is, first of all, you don't realize you're feeling good until you think about it. You say, oh, wow, I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hadn't thought of that, but I really am feeling good. Yeah. So you have to kind of remind yourself, and that's how you know you're feeling good, right? Like you don't have to think about it. It's like, oh yeah, I guess I am. How cool. But the other great thing about it is when you're feeling that good, it gives you the foundation to leverage more feeling good. It gives you the experience that you can think about. That's one of the things people like about vacations, right? You get to focus on, oh wow, that was such a great trip. I had a great time. We ate some good food. We had some wonderful activities. You know, we took a bike ride. We did whatever it is that you did. You just relive all those things in your mind. The more that you relive them in your mind, the more that they turn into more opportunities, more things that pop up in the rest of your life after the vacation is over. It becomes fuel.
Right? Yes.
There's going to be an interesting vendor there. They are a mobile stress room. Which is
I don't think I want a stress. I want a de-stress room.
It's a de-stress room.
Oh, okay.
It's a
come into our room and get stressed.
No. It's a de-stress room. It's called the name of the vendors is called Stress Fracture. And what you do is
they need to work on their naming. That's all I got to say.
Well, what it is I don't know if have you ever tried one of these before? You go into a room with a pair of goggles and a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And you break stuff. And it's meant to
get your aggression out.
For people who are in high stress jobs like EMTs or police officers or whatever, it's a great way to just let all that aggression out. And you bring they have stuff for you to smash, or you can bring stuff in to smash.
For instance, if you're like getting over an ex and you want to, start smashing up their stuff, you can bring your own stuff.
That's right.
When I was in school, we used to call that a primal scream therapy, but we did it without breaking things. We just screamed loudly.
It's the same thing, but it's a fad. It's a new fad.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, if you can engage in activity with the purpose of releasing stress, and that's what you're doing, you're just letting it out.
Right.
Anything that you can do along that line is going to be a good thing. Because once that stress is gone, that's the good part.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you don't even know you're holding on to it until you let it go.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't realize that on a day-to-day basis, just how much stress we hang on to. Yeah. So every strategy we can follow to let go of that stress is really, really important. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of times you don't know you have it until, you have a weekend like y'all had. And you're like feeling really great and you're like, whoa, wow. Hey, my back doesn't hurt so much.
Right. Everything's feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny too, because like I said, I'm not normally a beach person. I'm not normally a sun person. I like shade better than sun, but, it was weird because I spent a lot of time in the sun and I was enjoying it. Mm-hmm. Why was I enjoying it? Because I was in a good frame of mind. Why was I in a good frame of mind? Because the stress was gone.
Yes.
So what ends up happening is when you release the stress, you find there's a whole lot more that you enjoy, including stuff you didn't think you liked.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty crazy, but that's the way it works. Our minds actually will open up to new possibilities the better that we feel. And that's important because, I remember having a conversation. Well, I had two conversations, actually. One with your friend, Pat.
Yeah.
Remember you introduced me the day before we came, after the show. He came onto the camera and we talked and so forth.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he was talking, we talked very briefly, but he was talking about how he hadn't really figured out what he wanted to do with his life. And I kept thinking, try new things. I think I actually said that to him. But
he feels like the universe is pulling him in all sorts of different directions. So he doesn't know what to do at the moment.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's so important to get the stress out.
Yeah.
You get the stress out and all the possibilities open up to you.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we feel like he's feeling, and we've all been there. A lot of us spend most of our lives there, is we get stressed. Mm-hmm. And when we're in that stressed place, we can't see the possibilities. And the stuff that really would be personalities, right? The stuff that we can see that would be possibilities seems antagonistic to us. Like, oh, I wouldn't want to do that. But the moment that we get into a de-stress mode, it's like, well, I could see myself doing that. I could see myself walking down the beach, even though I'm not a beach person. Why? Because I'm feeling good.
Yeah, they literally cleaned my entire basement, like did a demo and everything. And
those two were crazy.
They're insane. So they came up with an idea when Jen moves back to Massachusetts or whatever, that they're going to start a cleaning business.
I could see that.
On the Cape.
Bill, while we were there, Alex was waiting for their housemaid to come to clean the house. And the two of them had set everything up, not only to be cleaned, but they'd also set little traps to see, had the maid cleaned all the places that she needed to clean around the house.
Yeah, and she didn't.
And she didn't.
She did not.
She failed the test.
The worst. She was the worst. Instantly fired.
Oh, that's funny.
My God.
Those two, you're right, between the two of them, they could start a cleaning business.
Yeah.
And not only that, they could enjoy it.
Yeah. Because it's like they both have, all three of us have OCD, but it's like to a point where they're like, can we clean something? And I was like, sure. More power to you. Do you? And then they were like, yeah, so we're doing your basement. My basement is literally half laundry room, half spider village. So I was like, have fun. And then it turned into a whole thing. Like my whole yard is full of all the trash that needs to be taken out, and but my basement looks amazing. I'm gonna send you guys before and after pictures. It's crazy.
Okay. Yeah.
I would highly recommend them.
There's the stove. There's the
yeah. No, literally, I could build a bedroom down there now.
Oh wow.
Really, they were like, "Oh, you could have your podcast studio down here." I was like, "Nah, I like my room." So. But I could. Yeah,
well, that's one of those things where people think about OCD and they think, well, that's it's a disability that holds people back or causes problems. But you just described a beautiful scenario in which OCD actually works to their benefit.
Yeah, we're the type of people that we take our neuroses and use it for good instead of evil.
You've turned OCD into a superpower.
I turn everything into a superpower. I turn my Asperger's into a superpower. Everything.
And it's effective because when you do that, what you're basically doing is following the path of feeling good.
Yes, right. Yes, exactly.
Especially with OCD, because if that ornament is not in the right place, it doesn't feel good.
Oh, don't even talk to me about Christmas. Jesus Christ. Decorating the Christmas tree with somebody else? I cannot. It's my Christmas tree. Just let me do it. That bulb doesn't go there. That light doesn't go there. That looks awkward. Oh, listen, y'all just set off my OCD. I can't. I gotta take a break. This is what I do not prefer.
This is a great example of how you differentiate between applying it for good and applying it for evil, right?
Well, my Christmas trees always come out amazing.
Okay. All right. So that when they're coming out amazing, that's when you're applying it for good.
Exactly.
And it's for your good.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
Right. It's not like you're out there to save the world.
One Christmas tree at a time. Oh, man.
I've never been obsessive in that way, so I don't really know what that feels like. I just imagine it in terms of how it feels when I'm focusing on or doing something that I really, really like. And maybe I'm justifying it, but I kind of figure that's what it's like when you're OCD and you're doing something. You have this Christmas tree that needs to be made in front of you, and you get it just right, and it feels good. Am I wrong?
Yes, it's like it's satisfaction like you wouldn't understand. It's like I don't know how to even describe it, but it's just like all is right with the world.
All is right with the world.
The flip side of that though is when it's not right. Then
yes. And then you lose sleep, and it's a whole thing. You can't not do it until it's right. Like, yeah.
So that's really the challenge then, is learning how to not only take your OCD superpower to focus on what you want, but to let go of the stuff that you don't want.
Yes.
Yeah. But I also feel like timing is a thing. Like you have to be able to allow yourself enough time, because God forbid, like if I'm doing a puzzle and now it's like midnight and and the puzzle's not done, I can't go to sleep till this puzzle is done. I can't focus on the
sleep issues. I mean, come on.
Well, that's why I don't do puzzles anymore. But I'm saying you can't leave a project half done if you have OCD. It'll ruin your life until it's finished. And then sometimes you might rethink things and have to start the whole thing over. It's just
which is why cleaning is good for someone with OCD, because that's something that you can actually get done.
Yeah.
Unless you decide to remodel your room.
I mean,
the results are instant too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about living in an age where people want instant gratification.
Yep.
For OCD, I guess you really do want the instant gratification, and that is a good way to get it.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
I mean, I feel for the people who like are debilitated by it, like the people who are like, okay, I can't leave the house till I flick the light 7 times and all that stuff. I was like, thank God I don't have that part of it. Like I just have OCD tendencies. I don't have actual full-blown OCD. So I do feel bad for people like that can't live their lives until they do all their habituals. You know, like that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, and I've actually seen cases where people have OCD so badly where they feel like they can never get clean, and so they end up washing themselves with bleach.
Because, jeez.
Yeah. And actually, you know, there was I worked at a group home for a little while, and we had an elderly woman who had OCD that badly, where she was washing with bleach, and the lesions that it caused.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
I'm like a step down from there. I don't wash with bleach, thank God, because A, I'm allergic to it, and B, that's too much.
Yeah.
But
you think?
What I do is, you know, it's called HybaCleanse, and it's like the stuff that surgeons scrub with before surgery. Yeah, I wash my body with that before I use my scented soap. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the only way I feel the germs are gone.
Mm-hmm. Well, clarify something for me here, okay?
Yes.
If you scented whatever, soap, body wash, you know, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean you're just kind of making yourself dirty again?
Not dirty. It's still soap. It's cleansing, but I just feel better with the first layer of germs is off. Like hot water is not doing it. Like I need to scrape off that first layer and then, you know, and then make myself smell pretty.
But I mean, the perfume part basically is putting a foreign object on your skin.
You're not helping, sir. You're not helping.
I'm just asking.
Being part of the problem, not part of the solution.
It just seems to be like that. That's, to me, that's pointing in the wrong direction. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Damn it, I gotta start all over. Thank you for adding a new neuroses to my situation. Thank you. Throw out all the soaps. I'm just gonna walk around smelling like a hospital. It'll be fantastic. Now I can't even wear deodorant. Like, oh, now it's a whole thing.
That's the whole thing.
Actually, I mean, you're doing it very humorously, but that is what you're describing is exactly what a person does in order to develop this kind of thing.
Yeah.
They decide, okay, somebody else threw out an idea. They said, okay, I'm going to grab that and I'm going to run with that, even though it doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
I don't like that.
Nor does it make sense, nor does it really make sense.
Well, yeah,
right.
Sense doesn't have a whole lot to do with it. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it's about the emotional connection.
It is definitely. Yeah. I'm emotionally connected to my body soap. So, well, body wash. Anybody uses bar soap out here in these streets.
I would hope that most of us are emotionally connected to our bodies.
Well, that too, yes.
Well, yes, that's an extension of it. It's like, this is how I like my body to feel. I like to be moisturized. I like to smell nice, so.
So it's not just the body, it's the scent.
Well, no, I can't even say that because my scent changes different weeks. I go to the store and I smell something else and I'm like, oh, I need to smell like this week.
So you like variety?
I do.
Yeah, so that's what that is. That's variety. But you're still, I guess what I'm trying to get to is what you're describing is how people attach to things.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Attachment, and attachment can be fine if it's like with anything else. It's okay in moderation. But what happens is we can become so overly attached. I think that's where the OCD comes into it. So overly attached, it's like, this thing that I just attached to is now my identity.
Yeah. I think that is when it becomes a problem too.
Yes, absolutely.
So really what we're trying to learn then is not just OCD people, but everybody is learning how to attach without it becoming, oh my God, this is now who I am.
Yeah.
How to attach without becoming an attachment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. How not to become an attachment.
And actually that's the essence of Zen Buddhism is to rid yourself of all attachment. And that's nirvana is ridding yourself of all attachment. And
well, see, I think the Zen Buddhists go too far the other direction. I think I think they're basically OCD, non-OCD.
Right.
Yeah.
They become obsessive about not being attached to anything. Well, part of the reason to come here, I keep going back to what Abraham Hicks says about why we come here in the midst of all the negative spiral stuff that we go through. And their answer is chocolate.
Right.
Why? Because you want to be able to taste the chocolate. You want to experience the eating of the chocolate. Mm-hmm. Do you want to become the chocolate?
Sometimes.
Probably not a good idea, though. You probably just want to enjoy the flavor of the chocolate and then put it down so you can go on to something else.
Yeah.
And eating chocolate every day, you'll learn to dislike it.
Yeah, exactly. Too much of a good thing.
Too much of a good thing. So all things in moderation is actually a pretty good philosophy. Mm-hmm. You stay moderate, and now you don't. Well, I guess you can become OCD about moderation. I guess that's possible.
Oh, that's definitely possible. I call those people meal preppers.
Meal preppers.
Meal preppers.
Meal preppers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you can be obsessive about being moderate, but and these are the people who keep extensive lists. Mm-hmm. All right, I spent an hour and a half doing this. Now I have to spend an hour and a half doing this. Now I have to spend.
Well, that's also part of my OCD is everything has to be even. Yeah.
See, I don't think that's moderation. I think that's pure attachment going on right there.
Well, then there you're attached to the schedule.
It's attachment. I don't care what you're attached to.
It's attachment.
Yeah. The idea is to learn to let go. It's literally as simple. I mean, it's simple but not easy. It's literally as simple as I pick up the pen, I own the pen, I put the pen down, I'm done with the pen. I don't need the pen anymore. Mm-hmm. I've enjoyed the pen. I'm done enjoying the pen. That's what we're aiming for. That's moderation. It's not something that has to be scheduled. It doesn't have to be pre-planned. It's just enjoy the pen. I'm done with the pen. Okay, move on. Next.
Yeah. Whereas an OCD person,
but we have so much trouble with that.
I've got a black pen and a blue pen. Okay, now I need a green pen. Now I need a pencil. Now I need the mechanical pencil. And now and they all have to be.
I don't think it's the need though, to be honest. I mean, because all of us want to experience lots and lots of things. That's the whole point for coming here. It's not wanting to experience stuff that's a problem. It's not wanting to have one thing.
It has nothing to do with the experience. It has to do with keeping
Order.
Order. Order is very important to someone who has OCD.
Mm.
Yes.
And that's the thing that has to be let go of.
Yes, but easier said than done. It's
facts.
Yes, it requires.
I didn't say it was easy. I just said it was simple. It's so simple, anybody can understand it. Easy is another thing, because that's the question. How much resistance do you have built up to, doing whatever it is you need to do, including letting go of whatever it is you need to let go.
I was actually considering, at one point I was considering hypnotism, because I feel like I need to deprogram the OCD. But then I noticed, as far as cleaning and organization goes, it actually works in my favor. So I was like, I'm just going to leave it there.
Mm. And as long as it doesn't interfere too much with your life, and that's the other thing too about mental health in general. Mm-hmm. If you have tics, you have things that some people would think is weird or whatever. As long as it's not interfering with the rest of your life and the enjoyment of your life, then it's not a problem. It's when it interferes.
Yeah.
When you are finding yourself. When relationships aren't working out, or you find that it's causing you physical pain or mental pain, then that's when it's a problem.
I think it's also worth remembering that. I mean, you were just describing, Alex, about how and Bill, you described it too, about how you have to have the blue and the green and the red, and you have to have this endless stream of experiences. And I think it's worth noting that when we get all caught up in, oh my God, have I got everything yet? We're losing the stream of experiences. Yeah.
Your focus is not where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a problem in wanting to have the stream of experiences. I think that's actually a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wanting the stream of experiences and choosing to have that extreme that's how you let go of things.
Right.
Because if you don't let go, you stop the stream.
Mm-hmm.
For prime example, right now, I'm actually struggling to write these hashtags, which I enjoy doing every episode, because I don't have my regular pen, the ink ran out. Mm-hmm. And I asked Jen, because these are the best pens I've ever found. So Jen actually brought them from where her service dog got certified not in Japan, in Virginia. So I said, hey, while you're in Virginia, stop by Semper Canine and get me some pens. Because I'm out. And she didn't bring them. And I'm like, oh. So I'm writing with this mediocre pen. And it's not okay. I don't like it. I mean, I'm doing it, but, I'm not enjoying it like I used to. Because, there's the smoothness of the ink and how it flowed. And it was just, it's just so soothing.
Yeah. In SRT terms, we call this a vow of purity. And, a lot of people assume that a vow of purity is kind of like the Lancelot vow of purity, the chivalry. But actually, the purity is, I'm going to make a decision to make my life better once everything is better.
Right. Yeah.
Once everything is, and it's a promise you make to yourself, and we clear that.
Yeah.
That's
a good thing to clear too, because you really don't want to be stuck in that place.
Yeah.
No. And you'd be surprised how many people are like that. I mean, I've got a client who was in a bad relationship, and they were waiting until they had their life together before they would end the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, that is never going to happen.
But that's how you're
because
defeating the purpose.
Is part of the reason why your life is in turmoil right now.
Exactly. That's how you make your life better, by getting rid of that relationship. Okay, exactly. Why are we doing this backwards?
Right.
Well, for the very reason that we talked about everything else here, that we have trouble letting go of stuff. That's it. We have to learn how to let go of stuff.
Yeah.
I guess.
I will feel better. I will wait to feel better until I feel better. Until I feel better first.
I'm glad I don't do that.
So this is where we have to start turning the message around. I'm not going to wait until I feel better in order to feel better. I'm going to feel better now so that I can feel better.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I'm going to let go of this so I can pick up the next thing.
Bill, what did you say the vow was? Vow of what?
Purity. The vow of
purity.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of people mistake that thing. Oh, that's a vow of celibacy. And I was like, no, it's not the same thing at all. It's.
I mean, the way my dating life's set up, I'm just saying.
Well, sometimes
Facts.
you have to take a vow of celibacy in order to to understand the contrast.
Yes.
To really focus on what you want.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've done it in many periods of my life, too. Yes.
Yes, I actually have. Again, the relationships are things that come up a lot with my clients, and
yeah.
And I've given that advice a few times. I had one client who was constantly dating the wrong guy all the time, in the sense that she worked at a bar, and so she was always dating alcoholics. Well, first of all.
Don't date at work. Hello.
Probably should find another job.
Right.
Because that is not working out for you.
No.
Yeah. Not a good strategy.
And then the other thing was, this person would, she'd be in a bad relationship with an alcoholic, and then once that one broke up, the next week she was with somebody else, and the next week she was with somebody else.
So she's not even taking time to breathe.
She didn't take any time to breathe, and so she was like, "Why am I keep getting to the same guy?" I was like, "Well, first of all, you didn't give yourself to recalibrate, any time to recalibrate here."
Yep.
And so the advice that we went with was take some time to be celibate for a while. Enjoy the celibacy. Just enjoy it. And she's now finally she just started dating this guy, and is a much nicer guy, not an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And they've also agreed that they're going to take the relationship slow, that they're just going to see each other for
really
a
important.
while. They're just going to have a dinner or two. They're not going to just immediately jump into a full-fledged where they're moving in together, whatever. They're just going to take it very, very slow. And
you don't have to take it very, very slow. You just have to slow it down a bit.
Well,
don't become Facebook official on the first date.
Yeah, these particular people did need to take it slow, because he's the guy's getting off of is just finishing up a divorce, and she's and she needs to. And well, they've been separated for over a year, so it's not like,
okay, all right.
But again, they both agree that they both have a history. Yeah. And
I'm glad they see the light, though.
This is good.
It's like, okay, we're not going to jump into something here. We're going to see how we like each other as friends first. Yeah. And then we'll see where it takes us. And that's a much more healthy way to do it, especially for these people.
I think for anybody. I honestly, if you're trying to create a long-term relationship, you don't do it with sex. You do it with finding out whether you like the person.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that just takes some time. I mean, you're not going to find that out instantly.
Nope, you're not.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy for her that she was able to get to that point. And the thing is, the break was important. She had to take that break. She had to say, okay, no guys. no dating anybody. Not even going for the one night stand or anything like that. We're not doing nothing. We are just doing ourselves. We're
more double meaning.
Double meaning that way.
I'm sorry, I live in the gutter.
Taking time for ourselves.
That's better.
We're taking time for ourselves.
We're doing ourselves. I mean, what else are you supposed to do during the celibacy? Oh, that was perfect timing. I'm sorry.
We found Alex's funny button.
Oh my god. This is why I have no voice. It's been like this all weekend. I've been nonstop, like 12 hours a day, just laughing. It's been terrible, but great at the same time.
Laughing is good for you. I don't care how much you do. I don't think you can laugh too much. I don't
No,
think
I
that's
think
possible.
the way my vocal cords are set up, they're not having it though.
Well, you may have to do some healing afterward, but it doesn't mean that it was bad for you. It just means.
Well, I tried to put myself on vocal rest yesterday in preparation for today, but it wasn't enough time.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. I think that what we're touching on here is really, really important stuff.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, Alex, I was realizing, remember last week I was having you and Carissa make up some promos and so forth.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about them because I haven't run anything yet. I haven't finished putting them all together at mine. I was thinking about them over the weekend, kind of, not deliberately, just kind of, it was sitting there in the
back of your mind, getting bright ideas. It happens.
And we're driving home, and all of a sudden it clicked in my mind. I said, oh my God, I'm making this stuff so complicated. It doesn't have to be that complicated at all.
That's what I was saying.
What we need is a 10-second spot. The 10-second spot is like of Carissa, for instance, in the role of Nance, who's our lead character, saying, why do I keep attracting the same men over and over again?
Yeah.
End of spot.
Yeah.
That's the whole spot right there.
I mean, all the stuff we wrote, unnecessary. Yes, I agree.
It's totally unnecessary.
Agreed.
We don't have to go there. And we could do another one with you,
Yeah.
I understand why my friend keeps attracting the same men over and over again. Why doesn't she listen to me?
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing,
Lexi is the truth.
So I'm thinking we'll do 2 spots like that. We'll run those instead.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
Because that's exactly the message that we're trying to do with the show.
Yeah.
To answer that question, to help
young
women in particular, but anyone who's going through relationship issues,
right?
Understand, how do I end up doing that? How do I end up I keep meeting the same guys. I keep meeting the same women. I keep meeting the same person over and over and over again. Why is that? Why do I keep doing that?
That was definitely the subject of conversation this weekend. Let me tell you.
All weekend. Okay. It's a ubiquitous thing then. That means everybody's dealing with it.
Everybody's dealing with it in one way, shape, or another. Yeah.
In fact, Bill, I think you probably agree. It's not just single people who are dealing with it. Married people are dealing with it.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Maybe even more so.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem with a married couple sometimes, especially after you get past that year 5, 6, 7, 10, whatever, the relationship is in danger of getting stale. And you find yourself falling into a routine.
Yep.
And then you don't.
Especially if you have kids.
Especially if you have kids, yeah. You find yourself falling into such a routine.
Yep.
That after a little while, you're like, who is this person I'm living with now? Because you don't stop growing, you don't stop developing or reading or expanding, especially if you're doing this kind of work. This recreation work, or you're doing, or you're reading self-help books or whatever. You're working on yourself, and if your spouse is not part of that process, all of a sudden you realize that you guys are on different pages now. Not in just different pages, but maybe even different books.
Different books, right?
Facts.
And
different libraries.
And so then you got to figure out, okay, are we still together or aren't we? And and again, that's something that comes up from time to time with clients of mine, is when they are making that decision. They're in the process of making that decision. I've been married with this person for 20 some odd years, and I don't feel like I know them anymore. The kids, as soon as the kids left the house, I just want him to leave too.
Empty nest syndrome. Yeah.
Right.
And even more though than, what you're describing is definitely a huge thing that goes on a lot, but even more than that, just going back to the basic idea that we just talked about, why do I keep attracting the same guys over and over again?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're in a steady relationship, a committed relationship, you can actually get to the point where you ask yourself, why does my relationship keep delivering the same stuff over and over again?
Right.
It's really the same phenomenon. I keep attracting the same thing. Well, no, it can't be me.
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's got to be her. It's got to be him. It's got to be factors
everybody
outside
but
my
me.
control. It's the
Right.
politicians' fault. It's all their fault.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I had a nice long conversation.
I'm
with
sorry
my
I even
mother-in-law.
mentioned politics. Excuse me.
I don't know. You do it all the
No,
time.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm just talking about looking on the outside. I had a nice long conversation with my mother-in-law in the car when I was picking up my sister-in-law from the airport, and we were talking about. And she was like, "I'm feeling this because of global warming. I'm feeling this because of this. I'm feeling this because of, health problems or, stress levels and whatever stuff going on in the news and whatever. I was like, well, what is this? What's that mirror? What's being reflected back at you? What are you seeing in that's making you feel bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or putting it another way, what's it going to take for you to own your own feelings?
Right.
Yes.
Because that's really what we're doing. Whenever we're doing that kind of projection stuff, we're just refusing to own our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that bothers me so much. I was talking to a guy one time, and he was saying he was acting like a complete dick, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's the Gemini in me." I was like, "Please." I hate people who use their zodiac sign as an excuse for why they're assholes. Like, stop it.
Oh, come on, Alex. Don't hold back. Tell us what you really think.
I mean, let me tell you why I'm really mad. Like, Tauruses. Like, stop it. Like, I can't.
Well, see, that's my zodiac sign. My sun's sign is Taurus.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as I understood even slightly what all this stuff with the astrology was all about, I realized that I had to let it go because Taurus is the bull.
Right.
So anything that came out was bull, fill in the blank.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, I'm done here.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm a Libra, and I subscribe to most of the Libra stuff because it's usually good. But, and evenly balanced and all that stuff. But, we're a pretty awesome sign, just saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. But
I'm
a Libra too.
But I don't, exactly. But I don't sit there and go, oh, I'm awesome because I'm a Libra. No.
And I certainly don't want to say I messed up because I'm a Tauran.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pet peeve of mine. Pet peeve number 53.
My wife's a Scorpio, and I saw a meme recently that says, "Is that crap they're giving you, or is it?" And it had the different signs. What the response is.
Yeah.
And are you giving me crap, or is it? And then the sign where and the sign for the Scorpio was, "You wronged me once."
Yeah. Not gonna lie, that's a fact.
The thing is, and the thing is, that's my wife.
Yeah.
You wrong her once, she's gonna have a hard time letting that go.
Yeah. I mean.
Well, there's an excellent example, though. What you just laid out there, that scenario, that's an excellent example of something that we don't let go of.
Right.
You very beautifully constructed this whole paradigm around what her zodiac sign is.
Right.
Well, and so you start creating. Well, wait. Let me go further. And you created limits around it. They were limits that were given to you by the astrologers. The astrologers said, "Well, this is what a Scorpio is." But you created those limits around her, and then you created an expectation that the only way that she can ever react to something is to react to it. And you only get one chance. You're done.
Yeah.
So you just set yourself up just by buying into this astrology thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying astrology is not a real thing. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying let's not be using that as excuses out here in these streets. That's what I'm saying.
For Libras, it's, are you giving me crap or is it gossip?
I mean, I'll take them both. But,
but
I also...
And I looked at that, I was like, oh gosh.
I balance them out,
It's gossip, so yes.
See, this is where my strategy comes in really handy because I just ignore all of it. That meme comes up, I skip the meme. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just don't even bother with it.
Yeah.
Well, as Libras, we can't do that.
Knowing what you're saying.
I am once again framed by the fact that I'm a Libra.
Yes. No, we live for the drama, so we have to know the team.
Knowing where your limitations are,
it
does allow you to be able to stretch beyond your limitations.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really the art of letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, yes, you can take those and say, okay, those are my limitations. I'm going to own my limitations.
Right.
Or you could say, I know what I have a better understanding what my limitations are. Now I can stretch beyond those limitations. Because I had I didn't just have my sun sign done. I had my entire chart done recently.
Yeah.
And, it's going to be broadcast soon on, Star Narratives, which is another podcast. And we went through the whole chart of it's interesting. And yes, you can take it from the perspective, these are my limitations and I'm going to own my limitations. Or you can say, these are my limitations and I'm going to see how much I can stretch myself beyond that, or use my strengths to help me get beyond my limitations.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing what those strengths are help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think ultimately what we're talking about here is, am I my chart or am I me? Am I what my spouse wants me to be or am I me? Am I what my boss expects me to be or am I me? Am I what the television tells me I am or am I me? Mm-hmm. Am I fill in the blank or am I me? It's who am I what my external world defines me to be or am I what I define me to be?
Yeah. Well, I spent most of my life being a people pleaser, so I know what it's like to allow other people to define who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do too, and I hated it. I mean, I just didn't like it at all.
I've never been a people pleaser. I just did me all the time, every day. Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you do that, people's expectations of you is what you put out there, so you won't have a problem.
Right.
That's true. Yeah,
you know, you just avoid all that drama altogether. Like, no, that's not something Alex would do, so don't ask her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if Alex does get asked, when Alex is in her good place, she just doesn't even hear it.
Sure don't.
It just goes in one ear, out the other. Is like, what was that? I think something flew by. I'm not sure what that was.
I think I heard a dumbass comment. I don't
know. And hopefully I'm not in a really bad space, because if I'm in a bad space, I'll probably go try to find out what the dumbass comment was. But as long as I'm in a good space, I just let it go by.
We were at a restaurant the other day, and my sister-in-law was sitting next to me, and she leans over to me and says, I cannot stand these people right next to me, because their conversation is so loud and I'm hearing every word, and they're having an argument, and I just can't. And I was like, what? Is people sitting next to us?
Well, the last place we went to eat yesterday on the Cape before we drove back to Connecticut, we were in a restaurant. The food was okay. It was not memorable. It wasn't forgettable. It was just
it wasn't fresh catch.
It was fresh. It just, well, we won't go there. The point is, I don't want to focus on what I don't want, but that's part of the story here. Next to us was a table of kids. This is a very well-to-do area, right? It was very clear this is all the rich kids. So the rich kids were sitting at the table next to us, and I think they were using a phone to play some sort of a role play game or something. Like, what am I going to do with this scenario? Well, I'm going to choose to do that and lead to this.
Okay.
And they were doing that kind of game, and there were two really big factors that stuck out for me. One of them was that in this role play game, you could do things that were illegal and go to prison. And this one kid was going out of his way to figure out how long of a prison term he could get.
Wow.
And I'm thinking to myself, wow, what does that say about where that kid's head is at right now?
This is what we're doing in 2019. Okay.
Yeah.
Having business lunches.
Yeah, right. Business lunches, right. And the rest of the kids were all buying into it. They were all playing the same game, First
of all, who invented that game? Second of all,
I don't know.
That's sick.
Well, it was also an opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Because I could get all wrapped up in that game. And the fact that these kids are playing that, and I could start psychoanalyzing the kids, and I could start figuring out what's wrong with the scenario, and what are the parents doing? What kind of games are the parents playing with the kids? They're probably putting all the pressure on the kids to go to college and become really, really, I could go that way.
Or you could eat your lunch.
And that's exactly what I chose to do. And I said to myself, yay, pat myself on the back. I didn't get wrapped up in somebody else's drama.
Yeah.
Right.
I could have.
Yeah.
I could have very easily. But I didn't.
See, I'm a Libra, so I would have did
people again in your life.
That's right.
Yes, true.
Well, I would if I'd focused on them.
Right.
They keep showing up if I focused on them. If
That's
I say,
true.
oh God, I got to solve this problem, that I would keep continuing getting, more and more opportunities to solve more and more kids' problems. But I chose not to. So they're not
we're not, that's Joel's job.
That's Joel's job.
That's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I don't think he gets too many of the rich kids. Well, he gets some rich kids, I suppose. I don't really know.
I mean, he's out here doing football players and basketball players and whatnot, so.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
They got to start somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, Bill, did you know that Joel has clients who are NFL players? I mean.
Yes, I do know that. He mentioned that on a couple shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty high-end stuff.
Can't get more fancier than that.
But I'd be willing to bet that he doesn't sleep on it.
No.
Nope.
He leaves those sessions behind and he's done.
Yep.
He's just done. Like, okay, well, been there, got the t-shirt.
Yep.
I'm all over that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's the secret right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've gone through another hour, and this time spending a lot of time really focusing on a good topic here. I mean, you brought it in as OCD, but it's really about letting go of stuff that we don't want to hang on to, and that's been good. Before we go, I'm going to give each of you a chance to tell people stuff they need to know. Bill, I know you said you're going to be in Saratoga, but give some more details if you like.
Like I said, admission is free. It's at the Holiday Inn in downtown Saratoga Springs. Come along. I'm doing a speaking engagement from 12 to 1 p.m. on Saturday. And I'll be there with on Saturday. Nina and Wyatt will be there with me on Saturday as well, which will be great.
Very good. And Alex, I normally ask you about the spoiler alert and so forth, but I'm going to leave it wider than that. What's the last message that Alex wants to leave for today?
I have finished the first half of the second draft of episode 2, Backlash and Aftermath. Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, it's fantastic. And when Walt and I had a business lunch.
We did.
And we went over the script. So he just gave me some pointers that is making the script more awesome than I had already made it.
And it was pretty awesome when you started. So, I mean, this is where we're reaching a new altitude levels of awesomeness.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yes.
By the way, I don't know if you saw, Alex, I named the first episode. We'd been calling it episode all along. I named it Tan Lines.
Tan Lines? Technically, when you do a show like that, the first episode's always called pilot. But, okay, Tan Lines, I like it.
I don't like to do what everybody else likes to do, so I want to come up with a different title, calling it pilot just seemed, maybe if I call it Pilot Fish or something, but I didn't, no, that was too much of a joke. I wanted to go with my own title, that's all there is to it.
Tan Lines.
And for those of you who are wondering, what is he talking about? That's your invitation to go listen to episode 1.
There you go.
So with that thought in mind, thank you very much, guys, for a great conversation. Thank you to our podcast listeners as well. And we will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.